Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Shark Bites with Pat Brown. I'm here with head coach, Coach Rich Harrigan, and we're talking about the game that they just had with the Boston Militia. Unfortunately, Coach, we came out on the wrong end of the score, but we talked before the game, and you said one word, and that was attitude, and I think that they showed a lot of that at this game.
Well, that's for sure. Unfortunately, attitude doesn't always bring you points and W's, but it does bring out your heart, brings out your desire, and your fight. And I felt that the team today, regardless of what the score was, played to the last whistle, and they played hard. But again, you've got to get the W, man.
That's what it's about. It's about getting the W. Now, last week's game, I know you were kind of disappointed because of the scenario that came about, you know, not really getting a full feel of how your team was gelling. Do you feel that same way after today's game?
No. Like I said, I felt we've accomplished some small moral victories, but you know, as a head coach, you never really like that moral victory thing. But sometimes you have to take it. Sometimes you have to realize that it could have been a lot worse if we didn't accomplish some of the things that we did, and if we didn't have the attitude, and if we weren't as aggressive as we displayed in certain parts of the game. But still a lot of holes that are just unfilled right now. We have to fill those holes.
All right. Well, let's talk about some of the deficiencies / strengths. Special teams. You said we had a great week of practice. I wouldn't fault the whole special team unit, but you had one major breakdown, and that was the snapper getting the ball to the punter. What is your remedy for that situation?
Well, I think we found it. I think we found that our backup long snapper is going to be our first string long snapper. I think that's the answer. Laura Baden will be healthier, which is why we had to go with Mully at punter, because Dana's actually our punter, but she's also a long snapper. So she went to center. Oh, she went to long snapper. Baden was injured, so I had to go to Mully, our quarterback, to punt, and she actually did a good job. And she had no problem filling the ball. The ball came to her every time. So I think by default, we found a remedy to it. So I think we're all set.
All right. Let's talk about the proficiency of your offense. I thought, being that I did not get a chance to witness the first game against Boston, but just hearing the comments from the players and from you yourself, I thought that offensively, this was one of your better offensive showings against a quality opponent.
Yeah, I give kudos to my offensive coordinator and the offensive coaches. We really pushed hard with the players on taking what the defense gives you and finding it and exploiting it. We still left some plays on the field. There were some opportunities there for either our quarterback to run, or the receivers to run a certain kind of route that would have freed them up even more. But we did better than the first time, that's true. We're getting better. It's starting to flow, but we're still getting that red zone, those red zone blues, man. We're not cracking that red zone.
All right, and that's going to bring me to my next question. Short yardage is a major disappointment this year with the Shark team. I'm not a proponent of a spread offense on short yardage. I don't know if that's a philosophy that works for me, myself, but what are your feelings on short yardage? How do you feel about correcting that? Because effective winning teams are very good at short yardage situations, especially in the red zone.
Yeah, well, bottom line again, it's a work in progress. We came out wishbone when we did. We moved the ball very well. But, you know, our offense is the spread. And we can get away from it for a while, which we did. But tonight was different. The spread was working. I mean, we were moving the ball, but again, we probably could have ran wishbone a little bit more in the red zone. And we did one time when we came in short of the goal line, even though some people say that our running back got in, but
I was one of those people.
The only one that mattered was the ref. So, so now that we see that it got us right to the door, maybe we got to knock that door open next time. And you'll see a lot more of the wishbone or the short yardage packages and for the rest of the season.
Okay.
Definitely.
Let's talk about some of the strengths. You had some quality performances by some rookies and some veterans. Let's talk about the rookies. I thought that Francis Boone and Crystal Molina did an exceptional job as rookies in this game. Can you talk a little bit about their performance?
No, they did phenomenal, and so did
Caltabiano.
Yeah, Caltabiano. She had a great game too. No, they definitely stepped up. There was one play when we only had 10 players on defense out there because players weren't tapping each other out, and Boone, and I yelled at Boone to get in there, and she ran in there right when the ball snapped, turned around and got an interception. So that's just a superhuman play by a super athlete. But she had a great game. I think she's coming around, which is why I said last week's game was a warm-up for a lot of these young ladies to start understanding that they can play this game, and they're going to be called on. And she answered the bell more than once tonight. And Crystal Molina is just a darling to have on defense as well as offense. And she did a great job. Girl was open for a second deep, and she made a play on the ball and tapped it out. Come back on offense, made a couple of nice catches inside the red zone. You can't beat that. You know, you can't ask for more than that. Those rookies have a good career in football. They have a good career ahead of them if they want to keep playing this game.
All right, let's talk about some veterans. I spoke after the game about Tia Hopkins, Darlene Blue Hall, leading by example. Can you talk a little about what they represent to your team as leaders and as players?
Well, the thing that you want with players like Blue is you want her prowess, her defensive prowess to rub off on other players. Okay, and I think that's what's happened a lot. They see her ability to make big plays in special situations on big downs, and they feed off that. One player who you didn't mention was Talisha Brown, Tampa, who's our weak side. She had a great game today too. She got close to a couple of sacks. She stopped their power run game once in a while, and she also played fullback in the wishbone. But the bottom line is. And then players like Rev, your Tia Hopkins, she's just a fire plug. You know, she was filling the hole. She kept reading that backside run that they were trying to fool us on, and it was great.
Well, we got DC next week. What's your prognosis? What are you looking to take from this game into that game? And obviously, you want it done.
One word: physical.
That's what it's going to be.
Yes.
Because DC brings it.
And we'll be ready.
Coach, thank you again.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
This
has been Sharks Bite with Pat Brown. We will be coming to you live from DC as the New York Sharks take on the DC Divas. Catch me and my partner Dave Maxwell on WFN Radio.